my name is Emily, and this is the Delight Knits podcast, episode 18. Today is September 11th of 2022. This is my podcast where I like to talk about everything that I have knit on. I usually don't ever crochet or do anything else, really. Oh, I do yarn dyeing for, like, myself. I don't actually sell it. I just do it as a hobby. Because hand-dyed yarn is expensive, but it's also a fun thing to be able to dye yarn for your own sweater, which you've seen in the past if you are a returning viewer. And thank you for coming back if you are. I really appreciate it, and welcome to all new viewers. I will have links below of everything that I talk about. I will have you linked to my Instagram, which is delight_knits, and my Ravelry, which is Delight Knits as one word, and I have an email that'll be down below. So if you have any questions or anything, leave it in the comments or reach out to me on any of those platforms. Yeah, I think that's it. So it has been a month since I last podcasted. My daughter's 3rd birthday was last week, and so and last week was Labor Day weekend. So we've spent the last few weekends with family celebrating her. She actually shares her birthday with her aunt, my husband's sister. So it was celebrating with all of them, and then my family, and having a little get together with some of her friends from our church. So it was great. We had a blast. I may talk about it at the end. We'll see. I don't usually ever add personal stuff, but I apologize if you can hear my son at all. He is avoiding naps, and he is loud and screams all the time when he's happy to, but he might just be crying it out right now because it's been a rough weekend. Let's see. I think that is all. I don't know if I said I'm from Southwest Arkansas. It's finally starting to cool down just a little bit. It doesn't quite reach the 90s anymore, and I think there were a couple days this week where it was mid-60s when we got up and left for work, so that's great. I am recording on a new iPad that we bought here recently because my 12-year-old MacBook is not supporting anything. So that's kind of why I'm looking over here at the screen instead of like straight in front of me where the camera is. So I apologize if that bugs you. I will try my best to just look at the camera. And I also gaze off out to our front yard because I do have the windows open so I can have good light. So I have a bit of a zoning out stage right now with how tired I am. But I have a couple of finished objects, and I've also got notes in front of me. So I've got a couple of finished objects. One you saw last time, and I think I just the toes, and so I have finished these socks. So this is knit out of some leftovers. I've knit a pair in each color that's shown here for myself. So I knit these toe up. My sister, one of my sisters, is a big fan of the Fish Lips Kiss heel. And so I usually, when I have leftovers, I like to use every last bit of them. And so I will do toe up socks to use every last bit of yarn. And so Fish Lips Kiss heel, because I prefer the heel flap and gusset for myself. So I did Judy's Magic cast on for, I think I cast on 12 stitches, increase every other row to 64 stitches, then knit straight for I think either 60 or 70 rows. That will be in my Ravelry project page. Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then I think I knit 3 or 4 rounds and then switched colors. So I did knit these tandem. So I knit my socks on 9-inch circular needles, US 0 2mm. Every time I say millimeter, I'm thinking I say milliliter. Ugh, too much. So I cast on with each color, knit through the heel, and then cut the yarn and switched So that way I made sure I had enough. And then, so they do match. It counts. And where the yarn's changed and all that. So fish lips kiss heel, and then it's either 50 or 60 rows, and then it's a 30 row 2x2 cuff, and Jenny's surprisingly stretchy cast off, which I only use when I do socks toe up. I hate how much flare, which you can't see it on the blocker, but I hate how it flares otherwise. So that's this pair. They will get gifted to my sister in a couple of weeks because she will be going to DFW Fiber Fest with me on Friday the 23rd, I think. So she's gonna run around with me. So this is a thanks for her taking off work for that. I also, after finishing those, picked up a dishcloth. I have been wanting to try the half and half wrap by Purl Soho, which they also have half and half dishcloths. So I mean, it's the same pattern, it just, the size, it determines how many you cast on. So I cast on 40 stitches here. I think it's that end. Yeah. I cast on 40 stitches because that's what I use for my grandma's favorite dishcloths that I've done in the past. So this was me testing that pattern to see how I like the wrap and turns. And there's the back. And how I'm wanting to knit a blanket out of this pattern. I mean, wrap, blanket, there, it's a square. It can be used as whatever you want. So I'm going to be knitting a baby blanket out of it, out of this pattern. And so this is my way to practice and test. And I think it worked out great. It looks great. I mean, it's not blocked. I'm not a person who blocks dishcloths or socks at that point. But this is KnitPicks Dishie. I think it's just navy, and I don't know that. I think I have a label for this color. I think I do. It is pomegranate, so navy and pomegranate. And I knit this using a US 7 4.5 millimeter. So this is my second one I put on. So same thing, cast on 40 stitches, and you can see where I've got my wrap and turns up to like right here. So that's my second one if you want to look at that. I think I might add this color as my second half and half, or second half. I think that'll look good. I've got quite a bit of Dishie stash that you can go back a little bit and see where I purchased it. Trying to go through that now. My sock drawer's full, so, and I'm not, sorry Megan, but I'm not knitting you good socks for that I want. So we're gonna take a break and knit dishcloths first. So I've got that I'm knitting in the place of socks. That's kind of an FO with tandem because they're the same thing. I also, it feels like I don't have that much to show you, but that is because I spent about a week and a half knitting some swatches to send, or for Addie of Ruby and Rose's yarn. So she sent me her yarn, and I knit the swatches and sent them back to her. I love sample knitting for her. I've done it in the past 3 times. I've done it 3. I've knit her a Like a Cloud cardigan and 2 samples of her Fascination shawl. So I love her yarn and I love working with her. But I did knit 5 1 foot by 1 foot swatches for her to use for this collection that she's actually previewing now. She's shown some of them already, maybe most of them. Her pre-order will be available as of September 18th. So I knit 5 swatches for her. I knit stationery, and I'm going to insert pictures. So I knit stationery, Mont Blanc, if I said that right, Tattered Pages, John Hancock, and there was one more. She literally just released it today, so let me see if I can find it. she released Wax Seal. So they're gorgeous. I've got about 50-60 grams left of each of those that I got to keep as my payment for knitting her those swatches. And so I'm thinking about knitting a Vertices Unite or a Travel Mode 2.0 out of those, but that's gonna wait because I've got other plans first. But I greatly enjoyed those little palette cleansers. Loved them. They were great. I just love her yarn. Let's see. Some more whips. So you saw this last time, maybe a couple times. I have made quite a bit of progress on my Souffle Tea by Penrose Knits, Laura of Penrose Knits. So last time you saw this, where is my, it's in the back. I had just placed my ruffle round. And so there's a purl ridge right here where you pick up on the ruffle. So I just knit past that. And since then, as you can tell, there's some grass on it. I have knit the ruffle and I have knit the neckline and added my little keyhole back. So you can see that there, and my button. I think this button turned out great. I got this button at Knit Unto Others on the Arkansas Yarn Crawl a month or two ago. So here is that sweater. This is knit out of Surrey alpaca held double, and this is yarn that I did dye myself. So, and I have a reel on Instagram that shows me kind of dyeing this. It didn't turn out like I wanted to, but I think it'll be great anyways. Getting Surrey to, like, I wanted this a dark navy, like almost this color. It's definitely not. And I wanted this to be more of a variegated, which it is when you kind of pull into it. You've got some blue spots, but I think it's turning out great as is. I can always over dye it later, but part of learning. So I knit the ruffle and I've got maybe just about an inch left to go. I put this there and I think I wanted 2 inches from that. So maybe a little bit more. It's got a folded hem. I will put on my work pants that I imagine wearing this with and make sure it's as long as I need it to be. So you saw the yarn I have left. I don't know if I'll be able to get long sleeves out of this because this is literally all I have left. I had 2 skeins of each, and so I've finished one of each of them already. But Laura's great, and she has options, like written instructions for both short sleeves and long sleeves. But I will finish up the body first, which it's been sitting in a bag for a bit. It's a little wrinkly. So I love it. I've tried it on. It fits great. So you pick up an I-cord at the neckline, and before I did that, I mean, you saw me try it on last time, I think. It was huge, and this brought it in a ton, and it looks great finishing. So we'll see if I have enough yarn to make long sleeves or short sleeves. I'm kind of leaning towards short sleeves though. I think Nicole of Professor Purl has hers in short sleeves. So I did make one modification in this sweater. So because I'm holding two different colored strands together, I had to do this, but in the original pattern, you're only supposed to hold one strand from here to the ruffle, and that makes it kind of sheer looking where you can see through it. But if I held one strand, I'd have either an all blue or an all green, and then it'd be held together in this color from then on. And the ruffle's supposed to be held singular as well, but I think this will be great. I mean, I'm just using up more yarn, and it's just not sheer, which is fine, because I'm okay not showing that stuff. Maybe one day I'll knit another one if I enjoy this too much, or enjoy this one a lot. But yeah, I'm knitting it 2 pattern besides that and loving it. I have gotten kind of tired of just knitting stocking knit on this, so I have cast on something else yesterday. But this will be what I take in the car with me every day to and from work. My husband does drive. We have a 30-minute commute one way, and so my husband drives, and I get an hour of knitting. That's been about all the knitting I get. That's why you don't see that much. So yeah, I did all that. So from the marker down, so quite a bit on the body, my ruffle and the neckline. So happy with that, hoping it'll be finished in a few weeks. We'll see. I am holding that in my, I don't usually show off my bags because they're always the same bags. This is my By the Bay bag bag, and I love it. They are actually going to be at DFW Fiber Fest, and I may get myself another one of these bigger ones, maybe a little bit smaller, in a different color. But it's got 4 pockets. I've actually got a phone charger in that one. It's got 4 pockets on the front and pretty big inside, and you can see pockets in there. I've got my 2 sets of shorties in here, plus my swatch and extra needles. That's where all those were. And yeah, pattern and stuff like that. So this is a great bag, and I think I want another one just like this style. Drawstring, and it's got 2 handles here. It's the great travel knitting bag, so I can put 3 or 4 projects in that. I also have, so my cast on that I cast on yesterday is the Long Summer Cardigan by Locatelli. So I am knitting it out of Ruby and Rose's yarn, because I think this is what I got for sample knitting one of those Fascination shawls. So this is her soft rose base in Twilight and Golden Hour, so that's 8515. You can kind of see there. Those look great. My husband said this is purple. It's definitely not purple, but it's not as dark as I imagined it. I was kind of wanting a more navy, but that's fine. I love these together. So I've got 4 skeins of this and 2 skeins of this. I don't think I'll need all of that, but I have cast on the back and just started the texture stitches. So this, it's curling right now, but I will come back. So this will sit along, imagine this is my back. It'll sit along here, and then I'll pick up and knit the front panel and let the front right and the front left, and then join it in the round under sleeves. She does a lot of, I think that's how her Like a Cloud cardigan I knit for myself and for Addie was constructed similarly. But here is the stitch pattern. So I'm in the middle of the twisted rib, and then it'll repeat with some blue stripes again, and then have a little stocking knit section. So I am loving this. This will just, and it's a super long, like past your butt cardigan. I'm sure you've seen it. So there's her pattern, like how it goes to her knees. So I am not alternating skeins because it's broken up by the Twilight. I think it'll be fine. I mean, there's not much variation, but like, you can probably hear my daughter running around. There's not much variation between the skeins visually that I can see. So there's my little swatch. It's rolling because I only knit like the bare minimum, but I did block it, which I don't usually do. And I think I was right on gauge, or similar gauge. But it is a cardigan, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm knitting the second size in that, and I am knitting it on the recommended needle size, a US 3.25 millimeter. On my souffle, I am knitting, I think it's the 4th size. the third size. Yeah, I'm knitting the third size there, which I am breastfeeding right now, and so like every day is different and the time of day is different on my bust measurements, so that'll all change eventually. It's always changing anyways. But yeah, I think that's all that I've been knitting on for the last month. I have enjoyed that. So I know I talk about it a lot. But in the next 2 weeks, on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, I think is what it is DFW Fiber Fest. Let me check those dates. 23rd and 24th and 25th. My family lives, and I grew up like 15 minutes from the Irving Convention Center that it's being held at. And so I am super blessed to be able to go visit my parents and say, here, spend time with your grandkids. I'm gonna go have a yarn festival. And it's the weekend before my birthday, and so everybody's like, what can I get you for your birthday? I'm like, hey, just give me money so I can go spend it on yarn. So the timing is perfect. It's great. I know in the past they've done it in April, which my husband is an accountant at a tax firm, and so April's not a good time. September's great. So we will be taking Friday off, and I will be at the shopping center. I mean, I'll be there shopping all day Friday. Maybe not all day, but first thing in the morning, probably past lunch, we'll see. Do have some other errands to run with my family while we're in the Dallas area. So I will be there Friday. I know Lindsay from Always Yarn First said she'll be there. I hope to meet up with her. I think Kristen from We Share Needles will be there. Not sure if Maddie's going. Maybe they'll wrap her into it. And I know Nitty Natty will be there Friday as well. So I am taking a class on Saturday. I'm taking the textural brioche class with Leslie Ann Robinson, and I'm super excited about that. I love brioche. I've never done anything besides like 2-color brioche. They're more intricate or difficult than 2-color brioche, and I would love to, but this is a great way to dip my toes into it. So I'm excited to be able to take this class from her. So I have been trying to think about like what yarn I want to purchase. I am trying to be smart about the types of purchases I make with yarn. You probably can tell I do not buy yarn often. I keep myself on a budget. Me and my husband each have a set budget for the year. We're both accountants, so money and budgeting. We each have a set budget for the year of how much we can spend on each of our hobbies. So mine's yarn budget and his is a hunting budget. And it works out great. We don't overspend on things on this type of stuff. And then we're able to keep money elsewhere for projects around the house. And so I have a little over $300 of my yarn budget that I have been saving for this festival, because I want to buy yarn in person. I've loved all the stuff I've seen online, and my heart is ached not to buy some of it, but it'll be okay. It's just yarn. It'll come back. There will always be more collections that I love. So I've kind of outlined what I want to purchase at DFW while I'm there and what patterns like I have and I want. I will be doing the West Knits MCal, the twists and turns, and so I am hoping that there will be kits there. I'm sure there will be, but I can also just put together yarn myself. But I am wanting to purchase a West Knits MCal kit. If I don't find anything I like, I have, so when I'm slow at work. Here's all the different combinations that I've been thinking of. And I write them down like while I'm going through Instagram and stuff. And so I've got some options, and I do have yarn, undyed yarn that I can dye myself. And so I'll have a weekend in between DFW and when that first clue is released, and so I can have time to dye the yarn if I don't find anything I like at DFW, which I don't foresee happening. But I also, this is my, I need to do something yarny at work stuff. I have listed out like what I want to buy or what I want to look at and think about buying. So I have been wanting to knit the Rose cardigan by Andrea Mowry for a long time. It is a oversized cabled cardigan. It is knit in pieces and seamed. I'm not sure I'm gonna love that. We'll see how that goes. But it's knit in 4 pieces. Like you knit the front here, and then you knit the back piece. Like you knit 2 fronts and 2 backs, and then you seam it together, and then you have to knit the collar. But it is a sport weight. I did purchase some yarn that's in similar yardage to what she used. I think she used La Bien-Aimée. But Suburban Stitcher has great fades with her fade club. I almost signed up for her fade club, but it's mystery, and I'm hoping she's got it at DFW and I can buy it there. So that's one thing that I really want to buy. I'm also loving the Easy V sweater by, is it by Caitlin Hunter? I can't remember who it's by, but I'm loving the Easy V. It is actually worsted, and I've only knit with fingering, maybe DK once. And so I am wanting to buy some of that. That's quite a bit of yarn with it being worsted, even with me knitting the first or second size. Probably go with the second size. And it uses spin cycle. I'm not sure if I want to buy spin cycle or just do solid tonals or variegated, but we'll see. Lots of people are knitting them or have knitted them, so I'm expecting to see kits and samples at DFW. But that's one. The Douglas cardigan by Andrea Mowry, again, that's a DK. That's one that I've purchased already that I would like to do. I've not yet purchased the Easy V pattern, but if I buy a kit, I will purchase it. I'm trying not to purchase patterns until I have the yarn. So I'm trying to find things that I've already purchased that I can buy yarn for. And one of those is the Starflake by Stephen West of West Knits. My son's crying. I'm almost done. And so that's another thing that I'm looking at. But yeah, so that's a lot of DFW talk, but a few other patterns that I have yarn to dye for. See, I've got 5, 10, 15, 27 skeins of yarn that's undyed. Excuse me. I've got 27 skeins of undyed yarn that I need to dye. So I would love to knit a Birds of a Feather, or Birds of Feathers by Andrea Mowry, or the Twisted Tea shorts and the Twisted Tea shirt. So I think my son might be wanting his mommy pacifier. So I am gonna go deal with him, and it was great getting to catch up, and I hope to talk to y'all in the future. If you are going to be at DFW, please leave a comment below and let me know. I would love to see you and hang out with you. My sister's gonna enjoy it all. She's just here for the ride. So I hope to see y'all then, and it was great catching up. Thanks.